Kia ora and welcome to the Beer Jerk Beer of the Week Drink Along. I'm Luke and this is Dave.
Kia ora, nice to see you again.
You remember Dave from 2 weeks ago. Thanks for coming back in.
No worries, it's gone by in a flash.
Yeah, it feels like moments ago that you were last here.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 weeks have passed since we had that delicious Hefeweizen. And we're back at it with Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude.
Let's pour some.
Thank you.
So what's the, what does Schadenfreude mean? That's a complicated word.
Yeah, well, the Germans are great at many things, beer being one of them, but also coming up with incredible compound words. And so this is one of my favourite words, which occasionally gets a run out in English, but it essentially means, and this will be a horrible mistranslation, but taking pleasure in other people's misfortune, which is a wonderful thing to do that sometimes needs a beer accompaniment. So I've always loved the word and had always thought that would be a great beer name.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we called our session pills.
Yeah. And it is a word that's been adopted into English as well. It's
a wee bit, yeah.
You put sort of pops of occasion. I think one of the few words that many English-speaking people will understand as German.
Yeah.
And it is a Pilsner.
It is, yeah, but a little one. So yeah, 3.5%. So session pills, which is a wee bit lighter than the traditional version. But we've tried to kind of keep as much of the character of a German pils as we can in a slightly smaller frame.
It's really not little at all. Like I mentioned to you earlier, when you guys released this and I read about it on the emailer, I just thought, oh, that's probably not going to be that good. Because I generally am not that into session strength beers. I think they're often missing something.
Yes, yeah.
Which is why I love beers that are designed to be lower alcohol, like a mild or like a Berliner Weisse. But when I tried this, I ate my words. This is so good. It's so. I suppose the trick is that there's tons of hops in there.
Tons of hops, yeah, and a slightly more complicated malt bill than a classic pill. So there's a wee bit more going on than just Pilsner malt in there to give it a wee bit more body and flavour. But yeah, and lots of hops. So it's definitely hoppier than it should be for a beer of this ABV. Yeah. But that again gives you the experience of drinking the full Monty on a slightly lower frame.
You're just not missing anything. This is just like those classic German pilsners, like if you had like a super fresh Bitburger, but with great aromatic hops.
Yeah.
And the ABV just doesn't even come into it. It's like, well, you wouldn't know that this isn't a 4.9%.
Yeah. And like I say, there's lots of beers that are designed to be a wee bit lower, and we kind of wanted this to be a bit of a little sister or little brother to Sloth, our Kirsch, which is 4%, and Kirsches are meant to be a wee bit lower. This one less so, but we like the idea of trying to get it into a smaller can, and this is available in a 4-pack. So for us, that was a good something again that was a wee bit different to try and do. But yeah, that was definitely the trick, was to try and make it taste like a 5% Pilsner in a 3.5% frame. So which does that all right.
Well, a perfect barbecue beer. Just good for daytime drinking. You're having a couple of beers, it's a Sunday afternoon, and you can get a bit sleepy. If you're onto the higher ABV craft beers. So
and I'm a big believer in whether you call it mid-strength or session or whatnot, but I think that's a really, and obviously the English do it pretty well. There's some beer styles that are meant to be that way, but I do think that's a bit of an untapped part of the market, and everyone's gone crazy about zeros, which is great. I think hopefully in the future, maybe the sort of 2.5%ers that are a bit of a compromise get retired, and then people make really good 3.5, 4.5 beers that you can drink a few of at a barbecue and not make silly comments afterwards, right?
I'm bored with that.
Yeah.
And in Australia, it's a huge category, middies,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So many 3.5% beers.
And in the US, all the light beers are also, the way that they become low cal or low carb is by being lower alcohol. So Bud Light and Miller Lite and all those beers are actually similar-ish to this. They just don't promote it that way. So yeah, I reckon it's an awesome way to drink beer. And the British mode of, you go to the pub and you can be there all day and have a nice chat and talk about everything and have a few pints, and then cool, you're all right. I think that's a nice way to drink beer. So we hadn't really seen a Pilsner version of that, so had to go.
You nailed it, yeah.
Thank you, yeah.
And as much as I don't really like the idea of beer as a commodity, but that is the truth. That's life. That's how people do consume beer.
Yeah.
People buy beer in the supermarket at the same time as they're buying loaves of bread, bog roll, and they buy beer to drink in volume every day. I personally treat beer more like cake.
Yep.
I do have 1 or 2 beers every day, but I treat myself to them. I don't really drink 6 or 8 beers on a Saturday afternoon personally. But that is how most people drink. The vast majority of people are buying boxes of Steinlager and things like Budweiser and things. So with that way of drinking, how much better is it to have a beer like this that's a bit more sessionable?
100%. And I do love a Steinlager from time to time, so I'll defend that. But yeah, totally agree. Like, and when I used to work for a bigger beer company, I'd talk to my team about that. Is how people, we are obsessed with beer. We think about it all the time. We go to the supermarket and we sit there and we study, right? But most people think about beer the way they think about cans of tuna. It's on the list. Okay, yellow ticket, I've seen that one before, put it in the thing. It's a 5-second decision, and that's how most people drink. So if you can give them something that allows them to do that, but is also a great beer or a more interesting style, that's the journey, right? That's the dream. Just very hard to do as a small company with terrible economics. But
well, exactly, and it's so cool. Just the 4-packs that you had of this, and just the perfect thing to pick up and take home. But as we mentioned last week, the economics of being a small independent contract brewer, you haven't got the economies of scale, and you have to pay for everything. And pay handsomely, and rightly so, because the the brewery that you're renting, and sort of everything else that goes into it, everyone needs to get paid, and it's kind of the last person is the contract brewery. It's like, well, actually, all that effort and work went into that, and people are saying it's too expensive, and we've still lost money.
And we tried the 4-packs for Schadenfreude and for Sloth, and we 4-packs was partly a way of just getting the price down, right? So versus a 6-pack, but we could get these to $20 with about a 1 cent left over at the end of it, which is a shame. And kind of on shelf, you're still seeing that versus really great craft beer. There's a 6-pack for $18.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then certainly versus those other barbecue beer options, which some of them are underrated beers, like our friend Steiny Classic. But I mean, you can't do that, right? So we had a go at it, but that was a harder model to do than a 440ml where you can charge $10 or $11, and people are kind of okay with that. So it was a noble attempt to kind of have a go at that multi-pack market, but we couldn't do it.
Well, it is a different business. I feel like it's almost like well, if you look at food, and you have like around the corner from here is the French Cafe, a fantastic restaurant, and also nearby is a McDonald's. So both really fantastic businesses, and super impressive what McDonald's does. Their whole operation, the standardization, the uniformity. The same as at Guinness. It's incredibly expensive, incredibly impressive. But it's for a little guy that just isn't. It's not viable. You're not going to open up a burger chain in Auckland and compete with Macca's. Unfortunately. So it would be wonderful to see a challenger to the big two, Lion and DB, that just make up 80-90% of our market.
Something like that.
And just like everyone else is sort of scrabbling over the scraps. But just a very different business, different experience, really. Have you spent a lot of time in Germany?
Not a lot, no, and not so much in a beer drinking capacity. I've backpacked around there as a much younger man, probably before my beer awakening. So I would have drunk some great beers probably without thinking too much about it. And then I was there maybe 15 years ago. Over there for family reasons, and did a little side trip to Germany. So really loved seeing a few places, but I haven't done my beer pilgrimage as such. Never been to Munich, never been to Dortmund, never been to Köln. There's a lot of great beer cities that are on the list. And I love Rauch beer, right? That is not a beer that I think you could ever put in a 4-pack and hope to sell more than to you and I. But that's an amazing style of beer that I absolutely love. So there's some pilgrimage places one day for me.
Oh, well, maybe if you're wrapping things up with Badass, you might have a little bit more time on your hands.
Perhaps,
so maybe you could schedule a bit of a beer pilgrimage.
I'm working on that one. Domestic selling. But,
So I think for a lot of times have been awful with Beer Jerk Beer Club recently. We had a couple of beers from Brothers, but actually they've sort of risen from the ashes, which is wonderful. New buyers. Then we had a couple of beers from Pacific Coast, and they announced that they'd liquidated before we drank them. And after we got these beers in, you guys made the announcement that you were just deciding to wrap things up. And
Yeah. Hopefully there's not a beer jerk curse there. But
well, that's what I'm sort of worried about. Like, apologies in advance for any future brewers that are going to get in. It just like keeps toppling like dominoes. It's,
but no, it was the right time for us to call it a day, I think. So we're super happy that we had a go, and really proud of the beers and the brand that we made. But our model at the moment is not a model that works. So it might be that someone else can find a way of making it work, or it might be that we make a glorious comeback in the future. But
it would be so cool to see the badass recipes live on, and just so much great design. And so it'd be cool if someone did sort of take on the baton, I suppose.
Hi, buyer out there.
Phone Dave.
Maybe, and that might be us in a different, in a couple of years. So who knows? But too hard right now. So they're still there. You're tasting them right now. So we're glad that we gave it a shot.
Yeah, tasting amazing. And you guys did some such cool things. For you, this this experience of 3 years.
Yeah, about 3 years. Yeah.
Of badass. What would be some highlights, some good memories for you? Winning a trophy
winning a trophy was awesome, right?
Hefe medal,
and that was super unexpected.
Incredible.
And that was the
Brewers Guild Awards, right?
Brewers Guild Awards, And I can't remember if it was because no one could go down if it was a COVID thing. It was at Good George. And the first award of the night was the wheat beer one, and the person I know, Keith from Lion, was going up to present the trophy, and I was like, well, that means it must be someone in this room, and the other people were, I think it was 3 sisters from New Plymouth and maybe 3 boys or someone from the South Island. So I was like, I think that might mean we've won. So that was a pretty cool, unexpected moment. Which I think I swore live on camera, which my mum was unimpressed with. But that was awesome. But I think just having a go and doing it, and ideas that you write down in a notebook or on your phone, or you dream about giving them a go, was kind of fun. And for me, some of that's the names and the copy, and for Devon and Lisa, the packaging and some of the fun things that we tried to do around it for us, and for Alex, some beers that he's really passionate about that he got to have a go at. So for all of us, it was a really awesome thing to do, and running into people who go, I saw one of your beers in Countdown, or I tried that at 16 Ton, or that's cool that we had a crack and we made it a real thing. It was nothing and then it was something, and then it goes back to nothing again, but such is life, right? Better to have tried it.
It's a wonderful thing, and for me, the beers that I make, I think so much about just the experience and just what a privilege it is.
Absolutely,
to create this product that people sit in their homes and they enjoy. And it's just so wonderful, and it's you so rarely get to speak to people that have enjoyed them. Obviously, lots of people do, because you're making batches, you're selling them all. So so for me, that occasionally I'll just randomly I'll be somewhere and someone will be like, you're the Small Gods guy? I'm like, what? And you're like a celebrity for a handful of people in the world, which is so nice to meet people that have enjoyed a beer that you've made. And
I think especially at the moment, right, it's hard times for the craft beer industry, hard times for people. So someone who, here's one from 2 weeks ago, but you pay $10 for that, right? Someone's given my business $10 of their hard-earned money, and hopefully they've had a really nice moment and sat down and listened to some metal and drank it, or has bought 4 of these for $20 and gone, my barbecue's better, right? So that's pretty cool that people have made those choices to support little businesses having a crack, and hopefully they think they've made a good call.
So great. So with you taking a bit of a break from releasing beers, have you got some other projects on the go? Are you going to start releasing music, or are you going to start whittling? What are you going to do with your spare time?
Both of those two are great hobbies. I have a fairly busy life with a day job and family and whatnot, so maybe do a bit more of that in the foreseeable. But I do. I've really enjoyed having the project, I guess, and so there is definitely a bit of my brain that would like another project. So who knows what that might become.
I'll hope you have a chance for a bit of a well-earned breather and a break.
Watch some telly for a couple of weeks and then see what happens.
When you finish that box of Disco Inferno.
That's right.
Perhaps you.
I'll drop one and it's tasting great.
Such a good beer. Thanks so much for joining us again.
No, thank you, Luke. Thanks for having me, and thanks for drinking the beer. Hope you like it.
Cheers for joining us, everyone. And thanks for being a bunch of badasses and releasing some fantastic beers.
Thank you.